Hey everybody, this is Chuck Johnson, the editor-in-chief of GotNews.com. You might have first heard of me like back in the day, probably like December 2014, when I exposed a serial liar named Jackie Coakley, who was the source for the Rolling Stone story that is leading to a massive lawsuit right now. And we can kind of get into that. Like we talk more about, how did I figure out the whole thing was fake? Why was I one of the first journalists to say the whole story was bullshit? Um, Basically, I did research, called some people, crazy thought. I don't know. And also because I know a little thing about human biodiversity and diversity and how human biology works. But what I really wanted to talk to you guys about today is why the media must name Jackie Coakley. Now, when I first started writing about fake rape stuff, everyone's like, "Oh, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. Like women are always telling the truth about rape, and you out rape victims." That was the attack that was made on me, which is pretty shameful because there was no rape here. But nonetheless, people came out of the woodwork to say that I outed a rape victim. In fact, I think over 100 newspapers reported that I outed a rape victim. It's so bad that my own mother called me up and she's like, "Why did you out a rape victim?" Well, I didn't out a rape victim. Jackie Coakley was never raped. The whole thing was a hoax. And what I'm really kind of doing here is kind of talking about, the media, why the media gets a lot of shit wrong. And it's interesting that, like, even today, even now that we know that the whole story was fake, even though that it's the subject of a major lawsuit, people won't say Jackie Coakley. And let's be clear about this. Like, there are a lot of like new wave feminists, like Kathy Young, like Christina Hoff Sommers, who recently wrongly signed a letter saying that Corey Lewandowski should be fired for battery or for harming Michelle Fields, which is pretty insane. But nonetheless, there are all these people, Asher Shao, Washington Examiner, all these people who still won't report Jackie Coakley's name. Now, why does this matter? Well, for starters, there's this interesting phenomenon taking place in the internet where women can now claim that they were assaulted or harmed or whatever. And in the olden days, we used to say, "Oh, this bitch is crazy," or "This woman's histrionic," or "She's just trying to get attention," and we would dismiss them. But now in the social media landscape, people can go and claim pretty much anything, and then it gets retweeted and retweeted and retweeted and retweeted and goes crazy. And now there's really no punishment for that when people just make things up. And that's kind of what happened here with the Jackie Coakley situation. So for those of you who don't know, Jackie Coakley was a University of Virginia student. She recently got married. We have the photos of the wedding, of the nuptials between the very fat Jackie Coakley. Not that there's anything wrong with being fat. I mean, I'm a little fat myself. And her new husband. And recently, a judge ruled that Jackie would have to testify. And all these people out there were having a laugh. NBC News, recently, said Jackie, a Rolling Stone is ordered to testify. They still won't say Jackie Coakley. And Ash Show, Jackie. In fact, the only publication that I've seen that's ever used her full name is the Daily Caller. Now, why does this matter? Well, for starters, if people know that there's a penalty that they'll pay in social media, or that they'll pay for the rest of their lives if they make up false allegations, they probably won't make false allegations all that much, or at least it'll be a deterrent effect. This is ultimately like why people name and shame people. Now, I can understand the taboo, circa like 1930, 1940, about naming rape victims. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea to name rape victims. Just think it's kind of low class. Not because I think there's any like first constitutional reason against it. It's just sort of like one of these taboos that the society has built. But nonetheless, here we are, and the media still won't report Jackie Coakley's name. And it's interesting because my research is being used in the case against Rolling Stone in the Dean Aramo trial. This woman, Libby Locke, is using some of the videos I found of Sabrina Rubin Erdely, who is sort of the Michelle Fields of this, just kind of a corrupt journalist. And they're using my evidence. So like here I am, this guy who had all these people. I was kicked off of Twitter for naming her the first time. New York Times. I'm just going through my Twitter feed right now, which I'm not allowed to be on. Shh, don't tell anyone. Jackie the woman at the center of a retracted Rolling Stone article about rape at UVA must testify in a defamation suit. That's what the judge says. This is the New York Times. Still won't name Jackie Coakley. National Review, the cuck publication of all cuck publications. Jackie must testify in defamation deposition. Esquire. Jackie will be forced to testify in the Rolling Stone case. Jackie, Huffington Post. UVA's Jackie from discredited Rolling Stone article must be deposed in lawsuit. And on and on and on it goes. Richard Braley, who, by the way, was interesting here. Richard Braley was one of the first people to call bullshit on this story, too. So good on him. And he's saying rightly, Jackie must testify that news organizations still won't ID her. What's the principle here? Protecting false accusers? Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, that's the principle. That's what's going on. You've got Jackie of Rolling Stone UVA story ordered to testify on Thursday. That's the Daily Beast. Slate. Will we ever hear what Rolling Stone's Jackie was thinking? Gawker, that terrorist organization based in Manhattan. Judge rules Jackie from the Rolling Stone UVA story must testify under oath. Judge, again, New York Magazine. Jackie. Drudge Report, right? What? I don't get why Drudge doesn't just name her. I mean, fuck it. Like, why not? Anyways. Again, New York Times, CNN Money. Katie McHugh, my homegirl over at Breitbart, says, calls her Jackie Coakley. Robbie Soav. So Robbie, a Reason, another kind of cuck publication on the right. Again, won't name her. So it's really interesting. Like, why are all these people not naming Jackie Coakley? And I think the reason for it, like, forgive me for saying this, but I think forgive me for being vain on this subject, but I think the reason they're doing this, the media is not refusing to name Jackie Coakley, is that they don't want to give Got News and yours truly a major scoop. They just don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to say that Chuck Johnson and his merry team of researchers, got the story right. We were the first ones to call bullshit, and we went over and over and over again. We said the whole thing was fake. We talked about the glass, the glass table where supposedly a bunch of frat boys raped, whether it was 5 or 7, depended on whether you believe the congressional testimony or the Rolling Stone story. I was pilloried. I was attacked by Matt Lewis, who's a serial liar at the Daily Caller, after Washington Post wrote a story about me being one of the first people to ID her. And it's really interesting. Now it's like a year and change. Ever since I changed the politics around Jackie Coakley and pushed it in a new direction, we've seen massive judgments against colleges that don't respect the due process rights of college students. We've seen, lawsuits. We've changed the politics of false accusations and said that male college students actually have due process rights on college campuses. And of course, this has been like a lot of lawyers have been fighting this. A lot of people have been pushing this, but we're really kind of turning a page here. And, those of us who were on the right, we're probably not going to get credit for it. But nonetheless, did the right thing. We fought the good fight. And I'm very proud of the role we played in this because I think we've changed the conversation about histrionic, lying women who claim things that didn't happen. And so, what do you guys think? I mean, do you think the reason they're not giving credit is because of me? What do you think is kind of really going on here? Why won't the media still report? Why won't they report Jackie Coakley's name? Curious to hear what you have to say. Email me, editor@gotnews.com. I'll be putting up some links to some of the hit pieces against me, some of the other stuff going on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So with that, I'm out.